Hello everybody, it's Sarah and today I want to show you my top 10 most owned authors. And I want to start with an honorary mention, Trudy Canavan. Her most known series is probably The Magician's Guild, The Black Magicians. I don't know what the whole thing, what the series is called in English. It's an honorary mention because I own 5 books of hers, but I have read 7 books. So I own, of course, The Magician's Guild. I own the first book in the prequel to The Magician's Guild. I'm not sure what it's called, and I haven't read this one. And I own the first book in the sequel of The Magician's Guild. Again, I don't know what it's called. But I also read The Age of 5, but I do not own it anymore because I gave it to Hannah, my roommate, because I really did not like that series and she loves it. So I decided to give it to her. Let's continue to the number 10 on my list, and that's Janine Frost. I own 7 of her books. Currently I only have 5 here. And Janine Frost is a paranormal adult urban fantasy author, and she wrote the Night Huntress novels, of which I have read 5 books, and I have read 2 of the companion novels. Next is an author where I intend to own a lot more than the 8 books that I currently own, and that is Brandon Sanderson. And I have read all of them. The 8 books that I own are the first 2 books of the Stormlight Archived series, then the 5 books of the Mistborn series, and Warbreaker. Number 8 on my list is, let me see, Juliette Marillier. I have no idea how you pronounce her name. And I own 9 books by her. I own all of the Seven Waters series. I also own Heart's Blood. I own Wildwood Dancing and the first book in the Shadowfell series, I think it's called. Next I have, this is really heavy, I own all of, well, not all of hers, but I own all of the Shadowhunter Chronicles, Cassandra Clare's books, and that's 10 books. Next I have the author who got me into reading fantasy, and that's Licia Troisi, who is an Italian author. And she wrote the Chronicles of the Emerged World, which are 3 different trilogies. I own 10 books by her because I own one other, well, the first book of another series trilogy, I don't know what it is. And yeah, again, this is really heavy. And this is kinda young adult high fantasy. And what I always said is it's like Aragon, but much better, and with a kick-ass female protagonist. Next I have another paranormal urban fantasy writer, and that's Charlene Harris with the Suki Stackhouse series. I own 10 physical books, but I'll count it as 12 because one of them is a bind-up of the first 3 books. And for those of you who don't know, the Suki Stackhouse series is the series that was turned into the TV show True Blood. And what bothers me is I can't really remember that much about the series anymore, and I only have 1 book left. But to read that 1 book, I would have to reread the whole series again, and I don't want to do that, but at the same time it really bothers me that I haven't read the last book, because in that way I'm a perfectionist. Next, here I have, this doesn't work. I need to put this whole thing a little bit more like this. So it's Jennifer Fallon, and I own 13 books by her, which is the Second Sons series, 3rd book here. Then I have the Tide Lords series, which has 4 books. And then there's the Demon Child trilogy and the Hytheron Chronicles, which are 2 trilogies that are kind of connected to each other. And actually, I don't know if I said that in another video, but I would recommend the Hytheron Chronicles to anyone who would like to get into high fantasy in the style of Game of Thrones, or would like to start Game of Thrones, because the Hytheron Chronicles actually is a lot like the Game of Thrones, but it's less confusing because there are less characters. My number 3 spot with 18 books goes to Kerry Arthur. And I'm not sure how many series of hers I own. You know, the most books that I own are the Riley Jensen series. Okay, I'm not going to pick them up because I don't want to throw them down like the others. My second spot goes, of course, to Anne Bishop. It's not my first spot, sadly. But I also own 18 books by Anne Bishop. There's, of course, the Black Jewel series, which is 9 books. Then there's the Ephemera trilogy, which is 3 books, which is really amazing. I love it. Then there's the other series, which is kinda less high fantasy, more urban fantasy, paranormal fantasy. There are currently 3 books out, but there's already a 6th book planned. So I don't know exactly how long this series will be. And then there's the Tyr Lane trilogy, which is obviously 3 books, which was the first of Anne Bishop's published books. So I just felt like the little fat mouse from Cinderella in that scene where he tries to pick up all the, you know, that food, and it doesn't work. So my number 1 most owned author with 27 books, I think, is Laurel K. Hamilton. And she wrote 2 series, I believe. I don't know if she has any more. I think only those 2. One is the Anita Blake series. I don't own all the books. And the other one is the Mary Chantry series, which is less vampires, more fae. Also, I think her latest covers, the latest covers of her books, are proof that you can do paranormal fantasy covers right. Because I love those covers. Look how awful the covers were before that. Just to show you how much those authors really are in terms of my bookshelves, just let me show you. There I have a whole bookshelf that's empty right here. And this right now is my main shelf. As you can see, there's a lot of space that's empty. With that said, those were my top 10 most owned authors. Tell me what authors you own the most. Also, most of those authors actually are auto-buy authors for me as well. And I hope I'll see you soon. Kiss kiss! Next, here, I'll try to turn this. Let's try this. This is not all of the books. This does not work. I'm holding this the wrong way around. I can't name all at the moment. But, yeah. Is Laurel K. Hamilton. Laurel K. Hamilton. Just so you know, that's all the books that I just showed you. Well, not all of them, but yeah, pretty much.